Zach Gelb can be heard every weeknight on the CBS Sports Radio Network. Hello, Zach.
What's going on, guys? So Shannon Crowder wins the Media Personality Radio of the Year, whatever they're calling it, and finally shows up into the studio. Nice job.
Comes in for his one day to get his accolades, and then we'll all be back home.
Everyone's kissing his ass. He gets the pay raise, and then we'll never see him again.
Zach, we're never getting pay raises around here.
But that is true, my friend.
I thought there was an actual physical trophy. That's why I came in today. Didn't figure out I'm not getting anything.
You were waiting for some sort of presentation?
I swore there was going to be a box in here with my name on
the commissioner of radio was going to be here? Yeah. Some sort of radio commissioner?
Solana didn't even give you a pub sub or something like that?
Nothing. Let's talk some hoops with Zach Gelb here. And we just saw this trade that just happened. Chris Paul goes to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for Jordan Poole to the Wizards. There's a lot of action going on, Zach. What do you make of what we've seen so far, right? Bradley Beal was the guy. A lot of Heat fans had focused in on Bradley Beal and also Dame Lillard. But Bradley Beal was one of the focus points for Heat fans. And they probably could have had him, right? Because they could have increased their offer. Chose not to. Do you like what they're doing? They're pretty much, in my opinion, telegraphing, hey, for us, it's Dame Lillard. We like Bradley Beal, but we had a price and they exceeded it. We're going after Dame Lillard.
I was really surprised that Bradley Beal didn't wind up with the Miami Heat. That's the way that I thought this was going to go. Because the confusing thing here with Dame Lillard is, will he actually leave Portland? Because if tonight comes and goes and he's not happy with what they do with the 3rd overall pick, and I think they're going to keep it and they'll take whoever's available, if it's Miller or if it's Henderson, is he going to finally have the guts to say, I'm going to want out? Because so far, he keeps on giving them the benefit of the doubt and getting burned by the organization. And then he'll throw a few hints that he'll be leaning towards maybe requesting a trade, but we never actually have heard him request that trade. So until that happens, I kind of believe that Dame will stay in Portland. But if he does become available, Miami has to pounce. And if you're Dame Lillard, I know he doesn't have a no trade clause, only Bradley Beal has that. You would love to go to Miami.
And Zach, with that thought of Dame coming, the only pushback is we're going to have to give up too much. We're going to have to give up a couple shooters if it's Tyler and Duncan, 3 or 4 first-round picks. They're talking about Jovic in there, who's a first-round pick last year. So that becomes 4 first-round picks. Is there a number too high to not go after Dame?
No, because as long as you're keeping Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and you throw Damian Lillard together there, I think Dame's the missing piece for the Miami Heat to win a championship. I know what Pat Riley said about Tyler Herro. I kind of rolled my eyes at that because I'll believe that if Dame becomes available and they're sitting there telling you that Tyler Herro is this foundational piece that they will not trade for the great Damian Lillard.
Although you could believe, because he really gave Tyler Herro his roses in the press conference, but you can believe that and still believe Dame Lillard is an upgrade. We used to say it with Tua all the time when Deshaun Watson was going to become available, and thankfully that didn't happen. But we used to say we can love Tua and think that he's great and also think that there's someone that improves the roster.
It's kind of like when you're sitting there with the 6 and you always have your eyes wandering in the other direction, and then an 8 or a 9 comes walking along, and you're like, well, we had a good relationship, a lot of fun times, and I'm going to go pursue the other hotter girl.
Right. It doesn't mean that the person that you were talking to that you didn't find attractive.
Yeah, you had some good times, you had some good memories, but you're looking for the next chapter of your life.
But let's say, though, that they don't get Dame Lillard. And because I understand, we all think he's the missing piece, right? You add him to Jimmy and Bam, like
championship.
You kind of feel like championship is on the horizon. Let's say they don't get Dame. He stays in Portland or they work some other sort of trade. Can they compete for a championship? We were talking earlier about, Boston adds Kristaps Porzingis, and I think they're looking to beat teams in the West. I don't think that they're trying to formulate themselves to beat teams in the East. Let's say the foundation for the Heat next season is Jimmy, Bam, Tyler Herro. Can they compete again for a championship?
You're going to hear the words heat culture, heat culture, heat culture out the wazoo. They could get to a championship, but they will not win. Get to an NBA Finals. They will not win the Larry O'Brien Trophy with that group. They got to go get another player, and that's Damian Lillard.
And is everybody chasing? We talked about this earlier. Is everybody chasing the Nuggets? Which it makes sense that they won the championship, but it's that one piece. We talked to you before. We don't know if this is the dynasty to the Milwaukee Bucks, to the Boston Celtics. Are they chasing the Heat? Because everybody thinks that was a fluke, Zach. Like, what is everybody looking at saying we need to build a team to beat this team?
Put it this way. If Miami's in the playoffs, they're a tough out, and the whole Eastern Conference knows that. Boston, I like the move that they made yesterday, getting Kristaps Porzingis. I think the relationship did expire with Marcus Smart, even though people in Boston love him. The Bucks, to me, Channing, are an intriguing team. I know Chris Middleton opted out. I would expect him to be back. I know the president, Peter Fagan, absolutely loves Chris Middleton, and I don't think you are opting out of a $40 million player option without knowing that the Bucks would want to have you back at a good number. But I'm really curious the direction of the Milwaukee Bucks, because remember, when Giannis won a championship, he kind of talked about he doesn't know if he's going to stay his entire career with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I wonder if some of that frustration with some of the blowback he got from saying that this year wasn't a failure after they lost the Miami Heat in the first round is going to get to him a little bit. And then maybe in a few years he's going elsewhere. But to get back to your original question, everyone's chasing the Denver Nuggets right now because Nikola Jokic is a cheat code. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And remember, Jamal Murray coming back off that injury, he'll now have pretty much a full year under his belt, and I think he'll look even better next year.
I mentioned this earlier, maybe as a goof, maybe not, but would adding Zion Williamson to the Miami Heat be a Jokic stopper? Immovable force versus immovable force.
Let me tell you this. If Zion Williamson winds up with the Miami Heat, let me know where he's going out, because I want to party with Zion Williamson down in South Beach as a single guy, okay?
But honestly, have you lost all faith in him as an NBA superstar, as a potential NBA superstar?
He's not available. I know Joel Embiid struggled early on, and Joel Embiid couldn't get on the court, and then he turned out to be this MVP and be this superstar. But until we see Zion Williamson get on the court, I can't expect him to have this ceiling still of being a great player. When he's on the court, he's phenomenal. But what does it mean if you have this great car in your driveway and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it's worth all this money, but you're missing 2 tires? And that's what's going on right now with Zion Williamson. The dude is just never available. I don't care as long as nothing physical is going on off the court. If he's sleeping with 10,000 women, that's not why the Pelicans are going to trade him or want to trade him. It's because they don't believe he could get on the court. And also you keep on hearing the lack of relationships that he has with the people in the organization.
What about the Clippers? I find this very intriguing. Who knows what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook? Chris Paul's not going there. We just learned that. And then there were a report yesterday that the Knicks have spoken to the Clippers about a potential Paul George trade. We talked with Brian Geltzeiler a couple days ago. I asked him, do you think they blow that up there with Kawhi and Paul George? He said, nope, no way. There's no opportunity for that. They're going to keep those 2 guys because if they were to blow it up, what would they do? I disagree. I think they look to blow it up because the same way Zion can't stay healthy, neither of those 2 guys can stay healthy.
You know what I thought was interesting? And I know that he's living out in LA, so maybe he just enjoys it. But I thought for sure that Ty Lue this past year, with all these jobs that were opening up, would have found a way to force himself out of that contract and go to a different destination from some pretty attractive jobs that were open, because that Clippers team, we know how good they could be if they're healthy. But now you're dealing with that meniscus injury with Kawhi Leonard. Paul George missed the playoffs last year, right? He was hurt as well. That's another team, just like Zion Williamson. When they are healthy, I'll believe it when I see it. But unfortunately, just never healthy. And it stinks because Ty Lue has to know it's so frustrating when you know you have a championship type of team and the thing that is derailing you are the injuries.
Zach Gelb is with us from the CBS Sports Radio Network. Looks like he's in the CBS
Yeah, I'm not in
Sports
jail. I got out of jail, by the way.
Studios. Where are you? You at the WFAN studios?
I'm in the Boomer and Geo studio right now down the hall. So I don't need Channing to send me any money so I could call you guys. So I'm no longer in the slammer in the yard.
What kind of friend would send you money on your books?
That's a real friend.
That's a friend, Zach.
That's a real
The
friend.
Miami radio personality of the year.
I mean, how about that? So Crowder yesterday is named Radio Personality of the Year by the Miami New Times. I think that that says something. I'm being 100% serious here, and it's hard sometimes to know when I'm being sarcastic or if I'm going to launch a Scud missile in a second. But I'm being 100% honest here. I'm sure you've seen it, Zach, in your radio career. there are a number of athletes who try to get into broadcast media, and they either flame out or you find out real quickly they're a much better guest than a host. Some former athletes are great guests, terrible hosts. Crowder, I don't know if you've listened to him over the course of his career. He watched The Pivot, which nationally gets great plaudits. He happens to be an excellent broadcaster.
Because he shows his personality. He is authentic. He is real. And I don't mean this to be like a slobber fest on Shannon Crowder, but a lot of athletes, they get into radio and they're like, all right, I'm the star because I was a football player and I was an ex-athlete, and they're not willing to put in the work and they just rest on their previous accomplishments. Shannon Crowder has been grinding going back to the days of working with Sid Rosenberg. If you could survive working with Sid Rosenberg, who I love and is a dear friend and a mentor, then you could survive anything in this business.
Listen, there's not a single person in radio who has not heard Sid say he's a great friend.
Yes. A dear friend.
Right. Dear friend. It's a dear
and by
friend.
the way, I just want to point this out. I know people can't see us right now, but under Hochman's name, it says also not the Miami Radio Host of the Year. Under my name, it says not the Miami Radio Host of the Year. Channing doesn't acknowledge his accomplishments because he's a humble guy, but I don't see Solana getting it on the fun, so I'm going to stir up some drama here. Is Solana annoyed that he didn't win the award? I think he's a little jealous right now.
100%.
Well, I'll tell you what's really annoying Solana. He was 3 wins away from having a championship ring with the Miami
He would have got the
Heat.
ring.
He would have gotten the ring, would have been a championship broadcaster in year 1 of doing the pregame and postgame. So he was right there and just wasn't able to finish.
And now he's probably got to go spend a lot of money because I know he's been dating someone for a long time. So he's going to have to go spend some money to go propose to someone. So you don't get the ring, and now you're going to have to give a ring.
We said that there was only one person that wanted a ring more than Valentina, and it was her boyfriend who desperately wanted a ring.
How do you think she would have reacted to that if Solana gets down on one knee and he gives the World Championship Miami Heat ring? Is that a slap in the face? It's a beautiful ring, but you didn't pay anything.
I would never give that ring away, first of all. But if she didn't accept it, then I would know she's not the one.
5 years.
I remember from Solana's when he first came on the air. I don't know if this was with Dono and Frito, but he created a girlfriend challenge, which was to show your girlfriend a picture on your phone, like Google image search, of Pat Riley. And if she knew who it was, she's a keeper. And if she had no idea, you got to let her go. And I don't think Valentina knew who Pat Riley was, right?
I sent her a picture of Pat Riley, and she responded, Spo.
I thought she was going to say that it was your grandfather or something like that.
That's your baby, though, man.
What do you think about the Pat Riley postseason press conference, which happened this week? You talked about it. I don't know if you saw a couple of little things, but one of the things he said was he is implementing suits and ties on the bench for coaches next season. What do you think about that?
Are you serious? This is not just a Hochman joke?
Nope.
That's lame. Come on, it's 2023. Everyone's
Really?
got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, don't you want to look? I mean,
why?
Pat Riley has an idea of what success looks like. All right. I'm not going to debate with you whether I agree with it or not, but you can understand where Pat Riley has an idea of what success looks like on the sidelines. He wore the Armani suits forever. He famously made, I guess it was really David Stern who made, but Stan Van Gundy had to wear a sport coat with I think he would wear like a T-shirt underneath it or something like that. He wants it. What did he say in the press conference, Solana? Like, I want it to look, forget exactly what the word, do we have that
like
cut
you're a
still?
CEO?
But no, he said, let's get back to a sense of normalcy.
Let's get back to a sense of normalcy. He doesn't want to see guys in gym slacks and a polo shirt.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? Whenever I go to the airport after visiting my grandmother in Florida, I go to the airport in like shorts or sweatpants and a T-shirt, and my grandmother yells at me because I'm not dressed up nicely for the plane. Because back in the day, they would treat the airplane like it was a 5-star resort and it was like going to a club. So I think this is an old school, new school thing where old people like you are going to have a big push to get everyone to dress nice. But people like me,
listen,
who come
look
to work
at the way
dressed
I'm
up,
dressed.
well, you're actually dressed up nice for radio host.
For radio, I actually look like I'm wearing an Armani suit.
Yeah, you don't look like a slob right now. Like, come on, I'm wearing a T-shirt and shorts right now.
Right.
But Riley's watched a guy in Spo who doesn't dress up, and that looks like success because he has 3
But
championships.
Spo used to dress up. It was only during the COVID bubble that
when
they
he was
stopped
kissing
making
ass.
him. It would stop making him wear suits. Do we have that cut of Riley talking about this? I'm just curious exactly what he said word for word, because I don't. I think Riley would probably be setting a trend for. But although Solana and I were talking the other day, there's certain coaches, a la Michael Malone from Denver, who don't look good in a suit. Like, they're not going to look good.
And
in
a guy
suit.
like Pop would tell you kiss his butt.
I'm not so certain. I mean, he wore a suit for so long on the sidelines.
Somebody's going to tell Pop to go wear a suit. Yes, sir, I'm putting a suit back on. Pop's crazy.
I think Pop would actually lean towards Riley. Like, let's bring back.
Like,
Coach.
I think old school. I do. Although I was saying this earlier, Zach, if there's anyone who doesn't take Victor Wembanyama with the number 1 pick, it's Greg Popovich, just to show you how smarter he is than the rest of the room.
So I was in the same room as Victor Wembanyama yesterday. I was at his press conference. That dude is an alien. I've never seen him play live. So to me, he's like a mythological human being. And he walks in that room and he looks like a floating 7'5", like, just head, because he came in a jumpsuit. I hope that dude's a success. I think he could have a Shohei Ohtani type of impact to the NBA. But I really hope he's as great as advertised, because the way people are talking about him, it's out the wazoo right now.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I saw a picture of him with, I think it was JJ Redick for his podcast.
Yeah.
JJ Redick's not a small guy.
6'4", he made him look like a toddler.
I couldn't believe the picture that I was looking at. Yeah, that Riley sound, real quick, just to see what Pat Riley said exactly.
So, by the way, coats and ties next year on the bench. Spo and I have already talked about this. We're having our first real marital spat in a long, long time. Okay. And writers are not going to get in here unless they're coats and ties, even our guys over here in the black shirts. So that's just sort of a goal of mine. I want to get back to some kind of normalcy that I remember. I'm just kidding. But
he's just kidding, by the way, about the reporters. He was serious about the coaches on the sidelines.
That sounds like the old man yelling at the cloud, where he knows he lost the argument, but he's still going to push his agenda. I don't think that's actually going to get put into effect.
I don't know. Would it be the worst thing in the world? I mean, Tyler Herro. Now, again, this would have to translate to the players' union, and remember how players used to have to wear suits and ties on the bench. Tyler Herro, like, here's where I think it comes from.
You didn't like the Tyler Herro bucket hat?
I think Pat Riley didn't like it in the NBA Finals. I think in the NBA Finals, Pat Riley looks at Tyler Herro in a T-shirt and a bucket hat and says, this kid doesn't understand what this means to be on this stage, and I'm going to change that. That's where I think it comes from.
I think you turn off potential free agents with that crap.
Maybe.
You know what? I've done a complete 180 here. I think that all players and coaches and broadcasters, team broadcasters specifically, should have to wear tuxedos now. I want to see Solana tuxedo each and every game.
Hey,
he does get dressed up for the radio broadcast, believe it or not, right?
Suit and tie every single time. Suit and tie.
That little ashy jacket we saw.
Ashy.
Man, that was dirty. You never washed it.
I mean, it stays in the back seat half the time. And,
it's in the back seat right now.
In case a basketball game breaks out.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
All right, Zach's got to go. He's got somewhere to go. Zach Gelb.
Wear pants on a plane, Zach. Nobody wants to see
I am with that. I'm with that. If you're going on an airplane, put on a pair of jeans.
Not jeans,
with the
sweatpants.
Sweatpants
But if I'm coming from a warm place like Miami, I'm wearing shorts, not sweatpants.
Nah, put on a pair of jeans. Put on a pair of sweats.
For who?
Okay.
I mean, do you
Fashion
really want
police
to sit
over
on
here,
those? You really want to sit on those chairs?
I remember when you were fun, by the way. You're not fun anymore.
So
not old.
So
make
germy.
Hoffman fun again, all right? Let's make the movement.
Those days are long gone.
Your butt cheeks are out in your shorts?
I just don't want my legs on those seats. You know what I mean? Something
Wear grown-up
dirty.
shorts.
He had to go, or I would have brought up National Onion Rings Day, because that's his wheelhouse. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is he gone? Like gone?
He's taping an interview at 3:50 with a Vikings running back. He's like, I gotta go.
All right, I understand. Dalvin Cook?
No, not Dalvin Cook. Not a Vikings running back anymore.
The other guy
might be, because they officially released him.
Yeah, he's waived. I heard him talking yesterday about potentially teaming up with, is it D-Hop? Is that who we heard,
With
Jimmy?
the Jets.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, all of a sudden the AFC East and it's not the Dolphins anymore. Putting the pressure a little bit to Stephen Ross.
Come on over.
Make it happen.